What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. Today, I sit down with good friend and also moderator of the painting contractors group, Juan Romero. He is a painting contractor in Tampa. A little while back, he was working on his own. He's an avid podcast listener, so thankful for that. He's actually put a lot of what we talk about here into place. He's got a team of four, really just wanting to zero in on a couple things, but this was a great business breakthrough of just someone that's taking action, doing it each day, wanting coaching, wanting to learn how to get over that hump. And I see no reason as to why he won't be a heavy hitter in the near future. So you guys are going to like this one. The business breakthrough starts right now. Contractors all over the world are wanting more time, more freedom, more impact. The way we do this is through implementing systems, processes, standards. Welcome to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Here we hit business strategy, coaching, mindset, motivation, the tools you need for success. So strap in, listen up, and get ready to grow on the Contractor Secrets Podcast. What is going on, everyone? I'm here with Juan Romero, attention to detail painting, Tampa Bay. Fellow Dripjobs user. First things first, do you like Dripjobs?
Yes, I'm liking it very much.
You're the man. All right. Well, thanks for your support there. So let's talk a little bit about your business. I know you and I went back and forth a little bit about where you were to where you are now. It is now Wednesday at 9 o'clock and you are not on a job site. So I assume that you have some teammates out helping you out. So tell me a little bit about your business. Give me the good and then give me an area that you wish to improve.
Okay. Well, been in business since 2012. Mostly been a one-man show and a helper for most of that. And ever since we had our daughter, she's 3 years old now, I've realized how much time I have to, it takes me away from being with her in the evenings.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to make a change. Really wanted to do that in around 2020. The world happened. And I had no idea how to scale it up by myself. And then I found you and your podcast and also Nick Slavik's podcast, and it helped me make a plan to scale up and finally, get out of the job site. I'm not fully out of the job site yet. I'm still there. I want to say 75% of the time. So the good news is I have a good crew now. I have 3 full-time guys. I have a 4th one, but he's leaving for a job that he's been looking at for the longest time. So I have a good, reliable crew. All 4 of them are on the job site right now. I actually have 2 job sites going right now, a big one and a small one. So that's going good. You say you wanted the good. What else? The bad?
Tell me what's an area in your business now, after telling me all the good stuff, that you're wanting to improve. Sales, marketing, hiring. What's an area?
Sales. I want to improve that. I think I have the marketing. If not down, I have a good, a good progression plan for it. But I need to tighten up my on the appointment sales.
Sure. So
Yeah.
walk me through, first, you say you do a majority of residential work, right?
Yes, 100%.
So tell me how your process works, right? From the initial phone call. So if I called your company, who answers the phone? What do they say? And let's start there.
Well, it's changed now ever since I started using Dripjobs and Angie. So the process as it stands right now is, let's say I get an Angie lead. They get the Dripjobs message right away, which is amazing. Especially if I'm on a ladder or if it's like, a Sunday evening and I'm with my family and they just get the message and they can do their appointment request. Even if they don't do the appointment request, they get a first contact. So that's great. I try to call them right away. When I call them right away, I let them know, hey, this is Juan with attention to detail. I got your info from blah, blah, blah. I'd like to see if I could set up an appointment with you and give you a free estimate and see how we can help you.
Sure. Love it.
From there,
I'm sure that's favorable. So once that happens, you show up to the house. Let's say it's an interior paint job. Now what?
Oh, well, you're going to like this. What's the story?
There you go. Isn't that a good opener?
Yeah. I actually, it's actually the same opener I've always used. Maybe not the same words. So like, hey, so what's the story? All right, tell me the story. Tell me what. Just you let the customer talk about themselves and talk about the job.
Sure.
Just listen. Try to get all the info. The first thing I gotta try to identify is what's the reason why they're painting, which is something that you drill us into for the longest time. But
Yes.
having been in business this long, I've learned to, okay, these are the
You've
reasons
been
why I try
doing
to
it.
paint
I
it.
just put it into a package and make it a little bit easier to replicate,
Dude, it's like the things that I've been doing or the things that I've been wanting to do, and like you've turned them from abstract thoughts into like well detailed thoughts. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Thank you.
So walk around the job site,
Yep.
hear their story.
Yep.
My initial walk around, I just let them talk as much as possible. Once I
Yep.
have all the info, then I try to customize my pitch depending upon what their needs are.
So let
Like
me give you an example. My story is I haven't painted in 20 years and I'm ready to paint, the walls in the house.
mhm,
My husband finally gave me the green light
mhm.
and I'm ready to go.
Okay.
What's next?
I assume that by this I've asked if they're staying in the house or if they're planning to sell. And so if they told me they needed to stay, it's like, oh well, we have a good process. I usually run them down our preparation process and our work process. Look, we take care of every little imperfection, every nick and ding. We fill all the nail holes, fill all the
Yep.
cracks. We want to make sure that when we're done here, you don't have to call me again for 20 years.
I like
um
that.
yeah, it's like as much as I like visiting my customers, I don't want to hear from them for 5 or 6 years after I'm
Same
done,
here.
because that means that my job was well done.
Right.
um I tell them about the products that we use. I told them about our crew dynamics.
Yep.
I try to drill into the fact that I have, like, look, I have good clean cut people. I'm gonna have good professional, well trained people here. Most
Right.
of my guys I've trained myself from the ground up, so they know how to do it my way. They know my
Building
process.
building the story. I love it.
Yeah. And I just try not to stretch that out for too long, because I feel like the more I stretch it out, it just
Right.
drones on, and just you
Yep.
can
So you got to
tell me.
have that temperature gauge to identify when to
Mm-hmm.
stop talking about
Yeah.
yourself and to transition and realign the focus
Mm-hmm.
of what your goal is
Mm-hmm.
on that estimate. So let's continue. I told you I want my walls painted. What's
Mm-hmm.
next?
Okay. Have you looked are you interested in doing your ceilings, your trim, your doors? I can see it's a little yellowing around in that ceiling. Maybe you had a leak a while back. Oh yeah, I had a leak in the roof. We never got that fixed. It's like, oh, we can take care of that. We have the right kind of primer that's gonna cover that stain. It's not gonna bleed through. You're gonna have your nice bright ceilings, and like, at least let me quote you for that. I can, maybe if you want me to, I can put it as a separate thing, and then you can tell me if you want it or not. Because once you see your walls painted, you're gonna look at the ceiling and be like, I really should have done that.
Perfect.
From there, I basically replicate that into every other area of the house that they were originally trying to dock. The ceilings, I find that's an easier sale than the doors and the baseboards, mainly best because they cost a little
Do you
less.
price the doors and the trim separately?
As of now, I've been itemizing everything. Again, I'm working on trying to work on the sale on the spot instead of taking it home.
Right. Well, I
So I
want to
have to.
talk about that. Well, you missed a crucial question. I don't know if you just were moving too fast, but how do you approach colors?
Well, I just asked them, have you guys looked into colors?
And if I told you no, what happens?
Okay. Up until now, I've been doing my own color consultations, but I'm talking to two different interior designers to see if I
Okay.
can hire
So
if I
you'll
can
do a
hire them by
good,
the yeah.
awesome. And then how soon do you want the job done? Is usually where I finish up on that,
Yeah.
find out when they want the job done.
Okay.
So
And I usually try to find out what their timeline is in the initial phone call, but I have noticed that can be a hindrance. So I'm gonna work into building that into the first
yeah,
appointment.
build it in because you want to know, obviously, ideally, you want them to say, oh, whenever your schedule's open, or oh, well, we have to get the roof on first. Like, so you at
Mm-hmm.
least have an idea of the barriers. Some people think that they need a roof on before they can paint,
Mm-hmm.
which I try to sway them the other way because I don't want to have to worry about overspray on a brand new roof.
Yep.
So I tell them that, say, look, we have extra caution and preparation that's going to need to be done if you have a brand new roof.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reality of it. So
Yeah.
I'd prefer you paint first.
I
Or
usually.
hey, some people say, oh well, hey, we got to get the flooring in first, right? Don't you hear that? And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Oh yeah.
why
I
would
have
you want to put the flooring in first? We don't
yeah.
want to have to put paper and plastic on your whole house just to paint your walls. So, you got to know that because if you can sway the sale the other way.
I usually have an answer prepared for something like that. Anything that can be done after us, I just tell them, look, if by any chance you're trying to get your floors done, it makes more sense for me to get my painting done. I ask them if they're gonna replace the baseboards or just put shoe molding, and I told
So,
them,
I mean, if I were to grade you here, I'd say like you're at a 90%, in terms of your pre-sale, right?
yeah,
Which is pre-exchange of money.
it's closing the deal that
It's
I'm
close,
having
but I'm
issues
just
with.
saying the closing the deal is where you're missing it. And chances are it's because of the pricing,
Yeah.
because you're so used to working on your own,
Hmm.
or that when you bring in other people, it starts to convolute the pricing, and the confidence behind the pricing is just as important as the pricing, because your prices were probably pretty lower than they used to be,
Yeah.
and you're starting to see higher numbers, and you're starting to second
Hmm.
guess whether or not you're going to win the job. Is that true?
100%.
So how you combat that, first of all, is identifying first that you're providing more value in exchange for their dollar by providing more people on the job. You
Yep.
understand?
Hmm.
So in other words, the customer's paying your teammates. The customer's paying for the paint. You as the business are just facilitating that exchange and keeping a profit because you made it convenient for the customer to have painters and paint, and a seamless process where you manage that process. When you think of it like that, it's almost like, wow, right? Other than the customer's just paying me to paint. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
A little bit different, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So when it comes to your pricing, walk me through how you would price this job. Okay.
Um.
Now hold on. I'm going to
Yeah. Go
give you
ahead.
the scenario so you know what to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
1,500 square feet house.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Orange peel texture,
Okay.
walls throughout. And then you
Okay.
just told me that you wanted to price me for the ceiling, walls, and trim.
Okay.
Give me a price.
Up until now, I've been doing everything by square footage. Vertical square footage for the walls, linear square footage for baseboards, door square footage. Door for the piece. Walls and ceilings, their own square footage.
How
I
long
need.
has that taken you? So let me ask you a question. When you go in there after that beautiful intro, which
Mhm.
again, A plus, really. I mean, I could tell that you know what you're doing when it comes to
Thanks.
facilitating a community. Did you used to work in a restaurant?
No, no
Really?
sales.
No
We
sales?
no, no. I did sales
Oh, that's why.
before painting.
So you know the
I've
game.
been in both
What
real
sales
estate
did
and
you do?
retail. First, I was in real estate back in Spain before the crash, and then I ran a.
My cousin lives in Barcelona.
Oh yeah, I'm from the south. I'm from Malaga.
Okay.
But we did. I also did when I moved here. When I moved to this area, and painters were offering $8 an hour for hour for apprentices, and I have 6 years of experience by that point.
Yeah.
Uh, I went to work retail for this place that paid commission on sales, and it was a independent Tommy Bahama retailer.
So
And
retail is a little bit different. So is mortgages. Mortgages is not much of a sale at all.
yeah,
You're not convincing anyone to do anything. Usually,
yeah,
if you're a good realtor, you don't do any convincing.
yeah.
That's not a good realtor's practice. And in retail, there's no closing that happens. So you have a
The one there I was there is because it was a commission based sales, and
little
we
bit
were
different.
selling. You were selling like $200 pairs of shoes, like $300
A little
shirts.
bit different than two, three, 4,000 though.
Oh yeah, very different.
Right. Because usually what we're selling is the biggest purchase they're going to make this year on
Hmm.
average.
Oh,
So
probably
what I
probably the biggest purchase in 5 years if they're not buying
sometimes
cars.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we have to understand that and have empathy toward that, and also
Hmm.
understand that it's still valuable to provide the service, even if it's more than what they thought it would be. And it's
Hmm.
all about confidence first. You've
Yeah.
got to be confident behind your pricing. So after you give me this great intro, do you send me off and say, okay, I'm going to do some measurements? Is that usually
Hmm.
how you operate?
Yep.
Okay. After this meeting here,
Hmm.
never do that again. What are you measuring? There's nothing to measure. Really, the whole purpose of a measurement, Juan, and you and I both know this, is to identify how much paint you're going to need. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. My thing is, up until now, I had really well down how much linear and square footage of each the different thing I can do on my own. My
Right. But
the thing that it. Go ahead.
I want you to not take it so serious,
Hmm.
because what that's doing is it's taking away from time. that could be spent building a relationship with your customer. If you're running around my house for the next 30 minutes measuring things, it looks good. It's like, oh, that guy's actually measuring from the customer's perspective. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to closing, you're missing out on 30, 45 minutes worth of time.
And I'm doing this for 10
and
to 15 minutes.
And you're just here, your head's down and the customer's trying to talk to you and you're just writing down measurements, and you don't even know what and then you got to go in the car, tally it all up. You got scrap all over the place. I did this, bro. And I reckon, I'm like, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense. Number one, the customer could care less how many linear feet they have in a house. They don't care. I don't care.
No, for the most part,
they care about one thing.
Bottom dollar.
That number at the bottom. And now, however you and I get there, Juan,
they don't care.
I'm going to get there faster. You're over there measuring. I'm over there talking about their kids, family, building a relationship. And I got that number in my back pocket ready to bring it out at the end. That's the difference. And you need to have a streamlined way to estimate that doesn't take so long.
That's what I need to work on.
I know because you're doing 95% of the hard work when you build your relationship in the beginning, and then you work up price so long that you almost feel like it's time to go, and you've overstayed your welcome.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You're like, Juan, you going to stay for dinner? I got to get started here.
No, I find that is my biggest fault. The measuring doesn't take me long these days. I mean, I can measure a 3,500 square foot for a house in 5 to 10 minutes.
But it's wargaming the price.
It's this.
Yeah, it's the war game, right? Yeah. So let me show you something. All right. Juan, you've been doing this long enough. I want you to utilize your expertise and knowledge to your advantage.
Yeah.
1,500 square foot house. How many gallons of paint are you going to use on the walls?
Let's say 8 to 10.
8 to 10. How about the trim, baseboards and door frames?
2 to 3, depending on how many closet doors.
2. How many on the doors?
How many in the doors? Probably
if
a gallon.
Spray them, maybe 2 at the most. Right?
Maybe 2, yeah.
Okay. Ceiling.
6 to 8.
Let's say 10, just to be frisky.
Yeah, okay? I usually round up. Yes.
So 10 for the walls, 4 for the trim and doors, 10 for the ceiling. That's 24 gallons of paint. Okay. You came up with that in under 15 seconds. All right.
Yeah.
So 24 gallons of paint. On average, what are you paying per gallon?
Depending on the grade, I usually try to beforehand identify what quality paint they're looking for.
They all want good quality. So again, don't overthink this. Everyone wants good quality and they don't care. Okay. There's good quality paint. I never talk about what brand of paint I'm going to be using on an interior house. It's going to be Super Paint Satin unless they come to me and they say, hey, I saw that there's Emerald or Duration. It's still great stuff, right? And it's cost efficient. Either way, we're passing that cost on to them, right? So,
one thing that's worked before we settle down on the product part. One thing that's worked really well for me in the past is giving them the choice of good grade and premium grade.
It confuses them.
Yeah,
it confuses them. For you, it wouldn't confuse you because you know the difference. That's one more thing you've got to overcome. And then when you give them that option, then you paralyze them. As long as you know you're giving a great product, then there's no reason to give variations. On the outside, fine. Because it's a lot different on the outside, right? Elements, weather, things like that. Fine. But we're talking about inside. Okay. Inside, not so much. Yes, on trim, we want to use acrylic, enamel, all the good stuff. But I'm just saying, on average, let's just give me an average number of how much.
I recently negotiated a deal on Super Paint. So I'm paying 28. Let's call it 30 a gallon after tax.
30 a gallon, but then you have your Pro Classic for the trim and stuff, right?
I use Benmore Advanced for
okay, so I'm going to say on average, let's just say on average to be safe, $40 a gallon. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yep.
All right. So for this specific job, Juan, and I'm going to just make it easy, we're at $1,000 of paint costs between all the gallons multiplied 24 by 40 gives us $960, and let's just add $40 for tape, sundries, and all that. We're at $1,000 for materials.
Yeah,
right then and there. Okay, so how many guys do you have working for you?
Right now, for about to turn into 3 because one guy's leaving.
Okay, so you have 3 guys working for you. Okay, What are they getting paid? Don't tell me their names. Just give me dollar amounts.
I pay well because Pinellas is expensive, so I'm between 20 and 25 an hour.
Very good. So
average at 22.50.
I'm gonna say average is 22.50. Okay, times 3. Okay, get my calculator. Wasn't good at arithmetic. 67.5 per hour. I don't care about you yet. You're last. Okay. Yeah. Unless you're putting hours in on this job working, I don't want to talk about your costs. Okay. So $67 an hour. Now, here's the kicker. Okay. First thing I want to do is price the whole house. Okay. So if you were to do this whole house, 1,500 square feet, ceiling, walls, trim, doors, the whole enchilada, everything, how many days would it take this team of 3 to do by themselves?
Right now, too long.
Give me a day.
Say a week and a half.
Week and a half. So 5, 6, 7 full days.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were on the job.
Yeah.
If you were on the job, how long would it take?
5 days.
5 days. So you would actually shave 2 days off the job just by being there.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting. I want you to see why I'm going here. All right. So if it took the guys 7 days, first thing we need to know is how much they're getting paid per day. So we take that $67 and we multiply it by 8. So they're getting paid $540 per day. Follow me so far? Okay. You said 7 working days, correct?
Yes.
7 working days. Let's multiply that by 7. That means that you have to pay this team $3,780 over the course of 7 days to get this job done. Okay. With that being said, we have to add in our $1,000. That gives us $4,780. That doesn't include any labor costs for you, nor does it include any profit for the business, correct?
Nope.
So you're all in. You come into my house, it's 1,500 square feet. You're telling me you're going to use 25 gallons of paint almost. It's going to be $1,000 of paint cost. Your team of 3 will take 7 days on it. Okay. That means that it's going to cost you as the business owner $3,780. Your total cost all in to get this job done on behalf of the customers, $4,780. Now let's talk about profit.
I need to price that job at $9,200 to make 100%.
Why do you need to price it at $9,200? Who told you that?
To get 100% profit on my investment.
50% profit.
Sorry, 50% profit on my investment. Yeah.
Why do you need 50%? Who told you that?
Well, that's the number I want to start at. Okay. In order for me to make a profitable, make a good profit out of this job, I need to double whatever I'm spending. From there, I gauge where the customer is at and know what they're willing to pay, and maybe instead of 9,200, I start at 8,600 or something like that.
So 9,560 is where you would come in at to get started. Yeah. Okay. In under 4 minutes, we came up with the price.
Yeah.
Just by working the numbers, projecting outcomes. Now, in some cases, will you use less paint? Sure. Yeah. Maybe you get the job done a little bit sooner. Sure. Maybe that's a bonus for your team, or maybe you stretch it and say, guys, we got to get this done in 6 days.
Right now, my problem is things are taking longer.
I understand that. But when you're a student of the numbers and measurements are no longer a hurdle, then you can narrow down why it's taking longer, where your costs were, what they should have been, and then you can pinpoint what's going on. But right now, it doesn't seem like that's the case, or it may be it's just taking you longer to get there. And one thing you said was we're on sales right now. So I want to make sure that we get this out of the way. Based on what I just showed you, do you still feel the need to measure?
No, not at all.
Waste of time. So you're in your car doing exactly what you and I just did here. You came up with 9,560. Do you have my calculator?
Yeah, I have access to it. Yeah.
Everything on that calculator is what I just did here.
Yeah.
So use that calculator. It'll save you time, right?
Sure.
So 9,560. Now, the reason I want you to see this is watch this. This is where people fail in this business. You ready? So you present 9,560 to me and I go, whoa, right? Holy cow, Juan, right? Now, here's the thing. By you emailing this quote, you're not going to see that.
I don't get a chance to answer them.
You don't get a chance to answer that. Yeah. So that is why in the beginning of your business, up to about $500,000 in yearly revenue, every single quote you do should be on the spot. Because if you don't, then you think that you have to get more leads in order to keep your business busy, when you're going to pick up the people that go, whoa. And you could say, wait, what's wrong? And they say, listen, Juan, I appreciate you wanting to give me a price for the ceilings, trim, and doors, but that's way too much. Let's take off the ceiling. And this is where you get a curveball thrown at you, because if you remove the ceiling from this price,
I have to
how would
start the
you do
numbers
that
right
right
over.
now?
Yeah. Yeah. I have to start the numbers right over. I
You
have to
got to
see it.
start all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's do that. I want to show you how to do that because it's important. Ready? We anticipated 10 gallons for the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean that if we were to do this job, it would only be 14 gallons. Right?
Yes.
Now, with that said, how many days would it take your team to get that done if it were only the walls, trim, and the doors? Just your team, not you.
Call it 5 days.
You would say 5 days. So that would
Yeah.
shave 2 days off the job. So 14 gallons of paint multiplied by 40, that would be 560.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you say 5 days for your team. Your team costs you 540 a day plus 560. That's 3260 total cost. Multiply that by 2. Now you're coming in at 6520.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you see what just happened there? You were charging $3,000 for the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
At all. Because what happens is because you did it that way, the customer now saved $3,000 on a ceiling of a 1,500 square foot house, which means that you were charging $2 a square foot on that ceiling, which on average it should be 75 cents to $1.25.
Yeah.
On average. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about right.
So the reason that happened is because you've got to have the awareness, the acute awareness to say, hey, this is a package price. If I start breaking this thing down, then it's not gonna be proportional, right? So you've got to have the awareness of how to reverse engineer your numbers to make it where you are still in favor. And you have to be careful with upsells, because by upselling, you might make less of a margin than you would if you just stuck with what they originally wanted. Walls in a 1,500 square foot house, 2 days, 36 to $4,000, maybe. You're making 50% and you're happy and you're leaving, they're happy. But because you added upsells, it confused the customer. Now they're paying way more than they thought. So you've really got to identify how to itemize these in a way that if they remove the least favorable one, which isn't necessary for the job to look good, a ceiling is not necessary.
No.
Right? If they remove the weakest link, it's like when you do exteriors. Do you do exteriors? Okay. When you add on soffits and fascia, if someone wants that as a line item, okay, you got to make sure if that gets removed, the price to do the walls, trim, and the doors is still at 50%.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to identifying your pricing and becoming confident in the way that you do it so you can present and you can handle these objections and you can handle the curveballs thrown at you when you're sitting in that estimate given the pricing. There's a lot to think about there. What do you think about that?
I need to make sure that when if they say it's too much and they want to remove the ceiling, I need to make sure that whatever I'm removing is not too much, because then the thing that I'm charging too much. I'm just
preparing you for on the spot sales, because it's going to happen if you're doing it that way, right? So you've got to understand that. You got to be full circle. They're going to say, can you just take off the trim? And then you wind up taking off the trim, and then your job is at 25% margin because you only charged a small amount on the walls and the doors. And what are you going to say? Oh, wait, never mind. That's not correct.
Yeah.
You know? So let's talk about the production team. What's going on with the guy that's leaving?
He's not meant for the trade, man. He's learned well. He's picked it up well. I know he doesn't enjoy it, and we do a lot of all-home restorations. We do a lot of making the old look new, and I know he detests the prep work, like with an undying passion. You can see it in his face. He's very unhappy doing it.
Is he a good person? Like, you enjoy having him around?
He's a good person. He's not the best. He comes to work every day, puts in his 8 hours. I don't think he's a very happy person. I think he's
that's more job related than it is.
No, it's personal. It's personal. Yeah, we've tried another guy in my career. So this guy, along with one of the other guys in my career, used to work for me in a separate business that I had before. And I brought him in last year. so the three of us have a good dynamic going as far as we know each other. I wouldn't say that we're close friends, but we're friends enough that we can talk. So we've tried to talk to the guy and be like, hey man, you got anything going on personally? Or is there anything we can help you with as friends or as coworkers? And he's very clamshelled about it. And
Yeah, it's
there's
hard, man. That kind of puts
yeah
a little bit of a
yeah
pang in the
yeah
okay, good. So maybe it's a good thing,
yeah
that
it is. No, I think it is.
moving on,
I think it is. He's he's not a very fast worker whatsoever. He's a
sure.
fine worker. Don't get me wrong. Like the guy will get down to the detail, but he doesn't. He can't keep a good pace. And most of the
So
time,
you've
I've
got to be
noticed it.
careful though going on and always learn from this in a sense
Yeah.
of how you
Mhm.
recruit people. Are all three of the people that work for you people that you've known before?
Only one of them. Only one of the
Only
three.
one of them. How did you find the other two?
The other two I found them. So I hired a guy last year that came from Idaho, from the Idaho Painter School. So he had a really good work ethic. But he moved down here, and shortly after, he had a business opportunity with a friend of his. But he's like, hey, I do have these other two guys that worked with me in Idaho, and they're moving right now. So I snatched them as soon as they moved into the area. I mean, these two guys are machines. I mean, anything you throw at them, they have no fear. They go on the highest ladder. They work, if one day we have to work late, they have no issue with it. If anything, sometimes they work a little, I don't want to say too fast, but when they pick up too much speed, they get a little careless. But I mean, these guys are workhorses. They're phenomenal. As a matter of fact, one of the two is my highest paid employee ever. He's the one that's at the $25 range because it's
Great. So hardworking
um
guys. Great. Love it.
very hard
So,
working and very willing to take corrections.
and that's important.
Yeah,
That's all good. Build off of that. You have to
yeah,
continue to hire,
yeah.
because you don't want to stay where you're at stagnant, where these two feel like they're running your company and you're
Yeah.
making the profit,
Oh
right?
yeah.
That's an important dynamic that you
Oh
need to
yeah.
ensure. What's stopping them from starting their own business, right? And if and you might think like, wow, they love working for me, but you got to remember,
Yeah.
everyone is
That's never
don't
infallible.
get complacent with that mindset, right? I
Never.
think you
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
So, I like the idea of four on a job. So have you already
Mhm.
prepared to replace this the guy that's leaving?
Yeah, I have paid ads out on Facebook now, and by the end of the week, I want to have one on either Indeed or ZipRecruiter. What
Perfect.
works
So
better for
you're
you, Indeed or
so
ZipRecruiter?
Indeed.
Indeed.
I just
Yeah.
stick with Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, Juan, you're rounded, man. I mean, I think the only thing stopping you here is the confidence behind on the spot selling,
Mhm.
and that comes down to your pricing, and it comes down to you doing it, and you're going to see an increase in sales. One thing that's a little concerning to me, just because that's just the way I do it,
Of course.
is when you take these curveball jobs,
Mhm.
restoration, old look new, these jobs really string out production times,
They do.
and they push out future jobs, like people that are moving in and need it done quick. You can't get
Mhm.
there because you guys are
Yep.
stuck,
Or I have to split the crew, and then
or
neither
you got to
job is
split the
running properly.
crew,
Yeah.
and it also affects your ability to bring in fresh blood, right?
Mhm.
People that don't know how to paint but want to learn, but then you throw them into a restoration job where they're sanding for 4 days and they want
That's
to
kind of what
quit.
happened with the guy that's leaving. Yeah.
Well, aside from his personality issues, if it
Yeah.
wasn't that, I'd probably tell you that maybe it's time to find what he's best at and put him there, because that's a leader's responsibility, is to facilitate, in the best without compromising where people fit best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No one. If and in the next year to 18 months, I want to have two interior exterior crews, and I want to have one cabinet painting crew because I
yep,
have done a lot of. So I have a process down, but I need to have one crew that dedicates only to that. And if this guy has stayed with me long enough, he would have been phenomenal for cabinet painting because he is. If you give him a perfect plan from point A to point B, he works great with, there's no variations. And that's basically cabinet painting.
yeah,
It's just, there's no variations. It's always the same thing, but fortunately he's not going to stay long enough to get to that point. So, but I
yeah,
do,
yeah. I mean, there's a ton of opportunity for women painters in this
mhm,
industry right now. There's a ton
yeah.
of opportunity for people that want to get into the trade, want to learn, and you
Mhm,
just got to make sure that your job types align and nurture that. Like for me, and we're in the same market mostly, the retirees, the communities, the drywall, the stucco, the simple repaints. You find a way to tap into there. It's just cookie cutter. in a good way. It's not like new construction where it's literally cookie cutter, but you get new people every few days and different environment and, that sort of thing, which you're doing now. But I would just try to just make that a focus more than anything. But you got to be
Yeah.
careful because these are things that you might have loved to do when you were working alone,
But
and you
it's
got it. And by nature, you go back to that. But now you're putting your guys there. Maybe they don't like to do that at all, but they're just
nope.
working because they, do you genuinely think that your two guys that are like rock stars enjoy doing these restorations?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they
They
do.
like it.
Yes, they like it. Yeah.
Okay.
They
Well, that's
enjoy
good.
they enjoy the getting down to the details and making everything look mirror
They're
smooth.
they're very detailed, which hurts when we have a $1,500 or 1,500 square foot house
It
and it
hurts a
takes
lot.
7 days because they're very meticulous. Very, is that usually what it's coming down to?
So here's the thing with these two guys. That's really what threw me off when I first started working with them. When I saw the kind of workhorses that they were, I was like, all right, now we have this craftsman restoration coming up, and they're gonna work too fast. And they were able to switch back and forth between fast production to detail work really well. Unfortunately, I'm realistic. There's not a lot of people like that
Who
out
runs
there.
the job when they're, because it sounds like they just have their head down and they go.
As of right now, me, but I am training the other guy to become a team lead.
There you go. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just have that in the works. That's all
yeah,
good, Juan.
yeah.
I think you're there. If you can just get your pricing to a point where you're confident in being able to just price it and go and deliver
Mhm.
that price on the spot. With Dripjobs, you can do it on your iPad.
Yep.
Um,
Just bought a cellular enabled one.
oh, there you go. You just bought
Yeah.
that.
Oh my god. Yeah. I just received it yesterday because
Do you
I
love
went to
it?
do one on the spot last Wednesday or Thursday, and I already had a number in mind. It was a very simple. They were moving in. It was only the walls. Like I knew exactly on the top of my head. I'm like, yeah, let me just type it up and show it to you. And was trying to use the what do
Mobile
you
app?
call it? The Wi-Fi
Oh, the
sharing,
Wi-Fi. Yeah.
the router feature on your phone.
No service.
I couldn't connect, and I was like, it just the appointment went from like yay to
Wah, wah, wah.
so like that's it. I'm buying it. I'm pulling the plug. I'm just gonna buy a cellular
Oh, you're
enabled
gonna
one.
love it, man.
I
You're
don't
gonna
have to
love
worry
it. Just
about it
having
anymore.
that
Yeah.
there, having them sign with their finger, it's awesome,
Yeah. I have to
bro.
work on my sales and I have to work on
Your pricing in a
no,
way
I mean
that
the pricing and sales and getting my production process down. Get them I did just get the SOPs for Nick Slavic.
there you
Those
go.
are gonna be a huge help.
Yeah.
Again, another one that puts abstract thoughts
I
into
think
the
you're gonna hit your goal of multiple crews. I don't think, I mean, I really don't see any holes other than if you learn how to price on the spot, you're gonna be a hitter, man. I
thanks.
mean, you learn and then the art of closing, which is like
That's my
really
issue.
cool, man. It really is. Cause at that point, you got to understand people want you to be their guy. There's
Yeah.
no way they wouldn't. Like you're very personable. You're very you're very business savvy. You come in freaking professional, man. So the only thing that's going to usually stop people from hiring you is either number one, the price, which we know, or number two, they still have questions, right? They're not, if people don't have questions, in other words, if they know exactly what they're getting in terms of the process, in terms of what it's going to look like, and that's your job to build value. If you can get that out of the way and you do that by telling your story, hey, I trained these guys from all the way up. They're my employees. One guy's name is Jose. One guy's name is Joe. They're great. They work so hard. They're so detailed. Like you want these guys in your house doing the work. I can't tell you how much you're going to love them,
Yeah.
then all that's going to be left is price. And if you're dialed in to your margins to where hey, this is at 50%, but if you really need work, you'll go as low as 35, 40%. You have a lot of negotiation leverage there. It's all about
Yeah.
how you frame it. And then you use value propositions if needed. Hey, you know what? Look, I saw you needed your roof pressure washed. I'll tell you what, if you allow me to earn your business today, I'll have the roof pressure washed free of charge. So you really learn how to find things that they know they need done that you may be able to subcontract or something to do to allow you to give you the boost to get the job. So much creativity there. I have a sales course. Have you ever seen it?
I got all your courses.
Did you take it?
And the which
The
one
sales
of them?
course.
Hang on one second. Let me
It's
what's the
the
word?
it's the on the spot sales course.
On the spot sales for Tanner Moment. What would be the website? Do you have it?
It's that I'll send you the link after this.
Okay, I'm fairly sure I've gone through all your core. Oh, I've lost you
Yeah, but
now. Oh, here you are.
this one specifically covers on the spot sales. So I'll send it to you once we get out of here.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, send it to me and see
Awesome.
see if I haven't seen it.
All right, my friend. Was this helpful?
Yeah, very helpful. Very
All right,
helpful.
man. I
Sometimes
appreciate your time.
you just need someone to tell you. Like even if you know, you just need someone to tell you in the face,
Yeah, man.
like, hey,
You're good. You're gonna hit it.
yeah, thank you, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Juan. See you,
Yeah,
buddy.
talk to you later, man.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for listening to that business breakthrough. Thank you again for just hanging out here. And I would like for you to stick around just a little bit longer. We have an awesome pro spotlight coming up. So if you haven't listened to one of these, all it is a couple of my good friends and pro Dripjobs users coming on, sharing their experience, and hopefully swaying you if you're on the fence, because Dripjobs is awesome. I'm a big fan of it. A little biased, but you guys get it. So excited for you to listen up to this one. Super special pro spotlight coming up right now. Real quick, what's going on, everyone? I'm here with Randy Smith, DuraPro. You may have heard of him if you listen to podcasts. He is someone that did a business breakthrough with me and is also a Dripjobs user. I'm just going to start off, man. You know, you're doing this for me and Dripjobs, of course. I just want to know raw thoughts about what the software's done for you. Are you a fan? Do you hate it? What do you what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I absolutely love it. Definitely what I was looking for in a software and a CRM. Like before Dripjobs, I couldn't even tell you how many different like softwares I was trying to use and manage to accomplish the same thing. And it was just a headache. And then now just having the all-in-one is a big thing. And then from there, my favorite thing is really, I feel like it's just taking my sales process, to the next level. And as far as, communication, the biggest thing is like the speed of communication. Customers love, nowadays with Amazon and everything, like everyone wants things now.
They're used to it.
Yeah. So like, for example, yesterday I had, someone see my Facebook ad, they filled out the request, and it was at like 4:30 p.m. and I was leaving the job site, and they said today worked. So it was like scheduled for 6 p.m. Drove over there and showed up. So it's
that
like
quick. Yeah.
Within an hour, they've got an estimate in their hand on the spot.
That's powerful.
So yeah, it's definitely taken the sales process to the next level, which is big. And I love the customer portal. Like it's just super professional, and you can throw all the details in there. It looks really nice. Being able to present it on the iPad.
Are you selling on the spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, man. I love selling on the spot. I think it just
getting people to squiggle on the with their finger on the iPad.
Yeah, I think it just makes your close rate go up, having just Dripjobs alone with the ease, like how easy it is for them to sign with you, right? You got iPad out, they can see everything. They can put their credit card info, which is big. So that's probably my favorite part, is just, it gives me that confidence that I feel like we're the most professional company compared to the competitors, and you can kind of sell your jobs for more. You go into estimates, with a different mindset, like knowing that, hey, we're going to be the best company or option for our target market. And you just have that confidence. And so that's been one of my favorite parts of it. Then on the other end too, just I love how I'm building up a pipeline, and I'm not missing any leads. So obviously, like, we're all busy with contractors, phones blowing up. Sometimes it's tough to not miss leads, but with this, everything goes right into Dripjobs, into those cold leads. I don't have to worry about missing them, and they're getting those follow-ups. And it kind of is helping me prepare for, the downturn, because of, right now it's like, oh, everything's booming, phones are ringing, but I know that doesn't always last forever. So being able to prepare, have that pipeline of leads building up, so when you are slow,
you can reference it.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you used the blast feature yet?
I have not yet, but
it's a good feature. dude, every time I hit that blast feature, I get something,
Really?
and for those that are listening or watching that don't know what that is, what he's referring to in terms of the pipeline is like you have a pipeline of every person that you've given a proposal to, or every new lead that has come through that maybe hasn't converted to an estimate. And all you got to do is hit one button and you can send out a message to just those people. So you can imagine if you have 100 people that you've given proposals to that haven't told you yes or no, or haven't opted out of communication, right? You can just blast them a message saying, hey, just reaching out today, we can give you $250 off your proposal. And every time I've done that, I've gotten at least 2 or 3 jobs. So I use it sparingly, of course, when you need it, but it's just good to be able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
exactly. I haven't
awesome,
tried
man.
that, but I'll have to
That's
definitely
huge. I
try.
love what you said, man, because there's an interesting thing about what you said in terms of well, number one, selling on the spot, right? Creating an experience. But dude, when I made this, it was out of frustration, right? Great things come out of frustration, because I know like you got to have the full circle from the initial intake to the final goodbye. So in terms of what your customers like, how are they responding to the drips? Because some people tell me, well, I don't want to follow up too much. Like I think it's annoying, or automated. People think it's a robot. Like, what is some of the feedback you've been getting in terms of like the responses people have when they get a drip email and it's like 2 weeks later or whatever?
Yeah, I've gotten only good feedback from it, really. I mean, I'm sure it's annoyed a few people that, ended up not being our customer
Right.
anyways. So it's like, hey, you're never gonna make everyone happy.
Right.
But overall, I think people appreciate the communication, like, and the trades in general have gotten a rap for, not answering the phone, not getting back to people. So I think being able to showcase, hey, we've got a system in place where, we're organized, we're on top of it, and we're communicating with you, from the second you reach out to us all the way to wrapping up the job. So I've gotten good feedback from it for sure.
Love it. That's huge, man. That's huge. So last question, bro. And again, thank you so much for your time. If you could let someone know who's on the fence, and usually everyone's on the fence when it comes to new software because everyone promises that it's going to solve their problem. Can you give them a piece of advice?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, has shaved hours of workload off my week. I guarantee that it's made me close way more jobs.
Yeah.
I feel way more organized, more professional.
Yeah.
It's just, especially at the price point, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would spend $1,000 a month on it. It's like,
Watch it. I'm kidding.
yeah, I know.
No, I appreciate the honesty.
But no, I just have a lot of
Yeah.
good things to say
Thank you, man.
about it. And,
Yeah. And for you to take
now,
time out of your day, bro, it means the world. Yeah, you get a little gift bag, but it's like, dude, your time's valuable. It shows that you really care. Shows that we've done a good job as a company, giving you something that you rely on, where you cannot think about what's going on in your business. You trust us, and we take that so seriously, man. So thank you, bro. You're killing it. Me and you just discussed a business breakthrough. So if you guys want to go back and listen to Randy, what was it, like 5-6 months ago? It was quite a while, right?
Yeah, it had to be. Yep.
Yeah. How's business going? Good?
Yeah, it's going great.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Well, I look forward to chatting with you, brother. Thank you for your time. Get back to doing what you do best, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.